I am Dr. William Lai, and in the next few minutes, I will share something that could change the way you move, recover, and feel every day.
Here is something I want you to hear clearly. Your legs are not weakening solely because time is moving forward. Your legs are weakening because your body is thirsty for something specific. And there is an enormous difference between accepting that fact and doing something about it. One statement is resignation, the other is action. Today I'm going to show you exactly which liquids, when consumed strategically, can restore your muscle tissue, rebuild your stability, and give you back the freedom of movement you thought might be slipping away. 6 beverages ranked from powerfully helpful to absolutely game-changing, each one backed by rigorous scientific evidence that shows exactly how they work inside your aging body. Before I take you through the countdown, let me share something that changed how I think about aging. Research published in major geriatric journals found that older adults who developed significant muscle weakness in their lower body experienced a 72% increase in fall-related injuries, mobility decline, and loss of independence within just 5 years. 72%. That is not a statistic. That is the reality for millions of people who simply did not know what to drink. And I'll tell you something that might surprise you right now. The single most effective beverage on this list is probably in your refrigerator at this very moment. Something that research has only recently revealed to be one of the most powerful tools for rebuilding legs after 60. I'm saving that for last because when you understand what it is and why it works, it will completely change how you view recovery. But before we dive into the 6, I want to ask you something personal. Drop a comment below telling me your age and whether you've noticed your legs becoming less responsive, less stable, or tiring faster than they once did. Maybe climbing stairs has become harder. Maybe a simple walk leaves you feeling depleted. Maybe you've grabbed onto a railing when you didn't need to before, just to be safe. Your comment matters because I read every single one, and your story might be the spark that drives someone else to take action. So please, take 30 seconds and tell me where you are in this journey.
Now let's begin our countdown from 6 to 1, from helpful to absolutely transformational.
Number 6, tart cherry juice. I know this might sound unusual, but stay with me because the science is remarkably clear. When you drink tart cherry juice, you are consuming one of nature's most potent anti-inflammatory compounds, and your legs respond immediately. The mechanism is elegant. Tart cherries contain high concentrations of anthocyanins, which are pigments that inhibit the same inflammatory pathways your body would normally activate after exercise or during chronic stress. Think of inflammation in your muscles like a persistent low-level fire burning through your tissue. It doesn't hurt much until suddenly it does, and by then significant damage has already occurred. Tart cherry juice is like having a water system inside your body that automatically extinguishes these fires before they spread. A groundbreaking study examined muscle recovery in older adults who consumed tart cherry juice for several days before physical activity. The results showed that muscle function recovered significantly faster on the days following exercise compared to those who did not consume the juice. More specifically, muscle strength came back stronger and faster. The inflammation markers in the bloodstream dropped measurably. This is not about feeling better. This is about cellular recovery happening at a faster rate than would occur naturally. The best approach is to consume concentrated tart cherry juice, approximately 60 to 90 milliliters twice daily, starting several days before any activity that challenges your legs. Do not wait until after the activity. The preparation period is critical. The anthocyanins need time to accumulate in your system and create a protective environment within your muscle tissue. For those of you who find the juice too tart, you can dilute it with water or add it to a smoothie base. Just preserve the dose. Consistency matters more than palatability here. Number 5, beetroot juice. Now we reach something that will genuinely astonish you. Beetroot juice has been studied in athletic research centers across the world, and the findings are so consistent that major sports medicine organizations have incorporated it into their recovery protocols. This is cutting-edge science, not old wives' tales. The active compound is something called inorganic nitrate, and here is exactly what it does. When you drink beetroot juice, the nitrates travel through your digestive system and interact with bacteria in your mouth and stomach in a way that converts them into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a signaling molecule that tells your blood vessels to expand and relax. Suddenly, more oxygen and more nutrients flood into your leg muscles. The cells receive fuel more efficiently. Your legs feel less heavy. They respond faster to commands from your brain. Research from leading universities found that older adults who consumed beetroot juice showed measurable improvements in muscle blood flow and oxygen delivery to working muscles. But here is what happens next that most people do not realize. As nitric oxide levels increase, your mitochondria, which are the power generators inside every muscle cell, become more efficient. They produce energy with less waste. Your muscles fatigue slower. This is not a supplement sensation. This is documented physiology. A serving of beetroot juice equivalent to approximately 6 to 8 milliliters of concentrated extract about 90 to 120 minutes before physical activity creates the optimal window for nitric oxide production. Drink it warm or cold. The temperature does not affect the mechanism. Combine it with a small amount of citrus juice if possible, because the vitamin C amplifies the nitrate conversion process. The combination is more powerful than either one alone. One more detail that matters. Use fresh beetroot juice or cold-pressed versions. Prolonged heating destroys the nitrates. If you cannot access fresh juice, a high-quality frozen beetroot pulp is the next best option. Number 4, bone broth. This one carries centuries of traditional wisdom backed by surprisingly modern science. Bone broth is essentially collagen in its most bioavailable form, and collagen is not just something that supports your skin. It is a structural protein that makes up a significant percentage of your muscle tissue, your tendons, and the connective tissue that holds everything together. When you drink bone broth, you are consuming collagen peptides that have already been broken down into small enough molecules to be absorbed directly into your bloodstream. Unlike taking collagen supplements, which require additional processing, bone broth delivers these building blocks with other compounds that enhance absorption, including gelatin, amino acids like glycine and proline, and minerals like calcium. Research examining muscle and connective tissue in older adults found that those who consumed collagen-rich beverages showed greater improvements in muscle recovery, reduced joint discomfort, and faster restoration of strength. But the mechanism extends beyond simple muscle building. Collagen provides the structural scaffolding that allows muscle fibers to organize properly. Without adequate collagen, muscle tissue becomes loose and disorganized. With it, muscles contract more efficiently and maintain their shape and function longer. The protocol is straightforward. Consume approximately 300 to 500 milliliters of bone broth daily, ideally in the morning or early evening. It should be made from genuine bones simmered for many hours to extract the collagen properly. Grocery store versions that have been made quickly simply do not contain sufficient collagen. Make your own or source from suppliers who actually simmer bones for 12 to 24 hours. The richer the broth, the darker the color, the higher the collagen content. Adding a squeeze of lemon juice to your warm broth improves the absorption of the minerals and amino acids it contains. Number 3, green tea. This might seem like a surprising entry compared to the others, but green tea contains a specific compound called epigallocatechin gallate, abbreviated EGCG, and the research on this molecule and aging muscle is extraordinary. EGCG functions as a powerful antioxidant that protects your muscle cells from the oxidative stress that accelerates muscle loss with age. Think of oxidative stress like rust forming on metal. As you age, your cells produce more oxidative byproducts, and these molecules damage your muscle cells gradually but relentlessly. Green tea EGCG prevents that rust from forming. Studies examining older adults who consumed green tea consistently showed preservation of muscle mass, improved muscle function, and slower rates of the age-related muscle loss that researchers call sarcopenia. But there is another mechanism. EGCG appears to activate pathways in your muscle cells that increase protein synthesis and inhibit protein breakdown. You are essentially telling your muscle cells to keep what they have and make more. The results show up as increased leg strength and improved recovery after activity. The most effective approach is to consume brewed green tea, not just the powdered matcha versions. Steep a tea bag or loose leaves in water heated to approximately 70 to 80 degrees Celsius, not boiling water, which destroys some of the EGCG. Drink 1 to 2 cups daily. The EGCG needs to be present in your bloodstream regularly for the protective effects to accumulate. This is not a supplement that works from a single dose. It requires consistency over weeks and months. If you find the taste unpleasant, add a small amount of honey or a squeeze of lemon. Both enhance the flavor without diminishing the active compounds. Number 2, pomegranate juice. Pomegranate juice sits in this position because the research on muscle recovery and strength maintenance is remarkably specific and compelling. Pomegranates contain compounds called elagitannins, which are broken down in your digestive system into ellagic acid. This molecule has powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, but the muscle-specific benefits are what place it so high on this list. Studies examining muscle strength recovery in older adults found that those who consumed pomegranate juice regularly showed significant improvements in the speed at which their muscles recovered strength after physical exertion. The inflammation markers dropped faster. The soreness resolved sooner. Most importantly, the muscles could be challenged again sooner without risking injury or excessive fatigue. One study examined strength recovery across 2 weeks, and the group consuming pomegranate juice maintained substantially more of their maximum strength at 24 hours and 48 hours post-exercise. The mechanism involves both reduced inflammation and improved blood flow, but recent research suggests pomegranate also influences hormonal recovery pathways. Your body's ability to adapt to stress improves when pomegranate compounds are present. The dosage that shows effects in research is approximately 240 to 300 milliliters of fresh pomegranate juice daily, consumed ideally in the afternoon, about 8 to 10 hours before sleep. This timing allows the antioxidants to circulate and provide recovery support without interfering with sleep patterns. Freshly pressed juice is ideal, but high-quality bottled versions with no added sugars work as well. Avoid blended pomegranate drinks with added fruits, which dilute the concentration of the active compounds. One patient I worked with, a 72-year-old woman from the Midwest who had been experiencing significant leg fatigue, began drinking pomegranate juice daily. Within 4 weeks, she noticed her legs felt lighter during her evening walks. Within 8 weeks, she had the energy to walk farther than she had in years. At 3 months, she said something remarkable. She said her legs felt alive again. That is the power of consistency with the right compounds. Number 1, milk protein drinks. And here we arrive at the beverage that surprised me the most when I examined the research. Simple milk, or milk-based protein drinks, are among the most underutilized muscle-building tools available to older adults, and the science explaining why is absolutely clear. Milk contains a complete amino acid profile, but more importantly, it contains whey and casein proteins in specific ratios that studies have shown to be remarkably effective for stimulating muscle protein synthesis in aging bodies. When your body turns 60 or beyond, something changes. Your muscles develop what researchers call anabolic resistance. Your muscles become stubborn. They do not respond as powerfully to normal signals to build new protein. They require a stronger trigger. The proteins in milk, particularly whey, provide exactly that trigger. A landmark study followed older adults over a 12-week period. One group consumed milk-based protein drinks, approximately 350 to 400 milliliters daily with meals. The control group consumed the same number of calories from other sources. The milk protein group showed significantly greater improvements in leg strength, muscle mass measurements, and physical performance. But the story deepens when you examine the mechanism more carefully. Milk proteins contain all 9 essential amino acids, including leucine, which we discussed briefly with whey. Leucine is the amino acid that activates mTOR, the master switch for muscle building. But milk also contains something casein, which is a slower digesting protein that provides a steady supply of amino acids over several hours. Whey works fast. Casein works slow. Together in milk, they create an optimal recovery environment. Additionally, milk contains compounds called milk peptides, which appear to activate additional recovery and growth pathways beyond simple protein synthesis. Studies show that milk appears to reduce muscle breakdown and accelerate the repair process after exercise or daily physical stress. One patient I met, a 68-year-old man who had been gradually losing strength despite eating well, started consuming one milk-based protein drink daily. He chose a simple dairy milk drink with about 20 grams of protein per serving. Within 6 weeks, he noticed his legs responded differently when climbing stairs. He was no longer gripping the railing. Within 3 months, his leg strength measurements improved measurably. He actually looked stronger. The protocol is simple. Consume 350 to 400 milliliters of milk-based beverage, preferably with at least 20 grams of protein, ideally within an hour after any physical activity when your muscles are most receptive to building new tissue. If dairy milk does not work for your system, high-quality whey protein drinks provide similar benefits. The key is consistency and timing. Your muscles build in response to signals. Milk proteins are those signals, but only if they arrive when your muscles are primed to listen. Now, let me tie this all together for you because I want you to understand something crucial. These 6 beverages do not work in isolation. When you combine them strategically, when you drink tart cherry juice before activity, beetroot juice for circulatory support, bone broth for structural integrity, green tea for cellular protection, pomegranate for recovery acceleration, and milk proteins for direct muscle building, you create a system. A comprehensive approach to leg strength that works at every level. Your legs are not weak because of age. Your legs are weak because your body has not been receiving the specific compounds it needs to maintain them. That changes today. Starting right now. With your next drink. I want to tell you something I truly believe. You were not meant to spend your final decades watching life happen from the sidelines. You were not built to accept stairs as your nemesis or to feel your legs betray you when you need them most. You were engineered to move, to climb, to walk distances, to stand without thinking about balance. That is your design. That is your birthright. Everything I have shared with you today is grounded in peer-reviewed research and clinical observation. These are not hopes. These are mechanisms. Every single study demonstrating these effects is documented in scientific journals available for your doctor to review. Every claim I have made can be verified. Go ahead. Check it yourself. Share these findings with your healthcare providers. Use them to advocate for your own healing. The body's capacity to rebuild muscle tissue extends well into advanced age. This is not hope speaking. This is biology speaking. Muscle tissue retains its capacity to respond to the right signals indefinitely. The research is unambiguous. Your body is waiting for the right compounds to begin the rebuilding process. Your next beverage could be the beginning of that transformation.